superior part of society. And yeah, I can see where people would get uh, PO'd about that and want to put a rein in on that, a check in on that. But it has gotten pretty wild.
Hmm.
And like you were saying, Queen, um, it turns around where people start attacking others. Where'd she go?
She probably just dropped off. She'll probably be back right now.
I was
She's
just getting
got
ready to talk
connections.
about what she was talking about,
You
where
can.
people,
I'm sure she's hearing you. You can.
yeah,
Keep.
where people like she was talking about dox people or get into their past or try to chip away at them. When the first notion for auditing was for the average citizen to not be abused by authority. And I think I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but
Well,
um,
I think. Look, I think that auditing, like anything, like any other thing, like it started off with something with good intentions. Now, everything, of course, gets pushed towards certain directions, and you can see that in every single type of movement. I mean, look at oh shit, my man is back. You can see that in any movement. What's like, you look at things like Black Lives Matter, and yes, that's a very controversial thing to talk about. But I mean, look at the route that it went to in the end. Like you see the end result.
I got a
There is
question.
there's corruption in everything, and it's the old saying, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like
well,
that's it's a
I got a question, Yuri. If
yeah.
Black Lives Matter, do Pink Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter or
well,
I'm
White
not gonna.
Lives
I'm,
Matter?
I'm not. I'm not gonna get. I'm not gonna get into that. I only brought it up because it's. I'm showing how one thing can start off with good intentions, with a good
and take
cause,
on a life
and
of
it
its
can
own.
and it can take on a life of its own. Exactly. That's my point. My point is that everything is susceptible to corruption, especially when the movement becomes bigger, because we're all susceptible to like the almighty dollar, to the power, to the lust of power, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the thing about this whole YouTube stuff too. Like people can say, like, hey, like, I just want to start a simple channel about crocheting. The next thing you know, you're the crochet king. You know what I mean? So it's susceptible in all levels.
Why you
So
got to be sexist? It could be the crochet queen. Come on now.
no, we all know that crocheting is a man's thing, and we're dominating that.
Excuse you? I'm sorry. I'm having nightmares about things that my mom had me do when I was young, and and you're bringing it. Wow. Okay, be that way.
Well, like people bring up Chile de Castro, right? And I'm not an expert on the auditing thing, but he's definitely a firecracker. He is a lightning rod. He's a self-appointed lightning rod. He's made himself one, and he is way on one side of the auditing attitude. Let's say with the all saying all cops are. I won't use the words he uses, but basically all cops are bad. Um, and
Cops are bad. Okay.
he uses worse language than that, and so and he says all of them all the time. Doesn't give anybody a break. Now, somebody like him, I'd like to say, look here, son, sit down in that chair and watch these videos and show him videos where really good cops, really good police officers doing their job, protect the community, all that good stuff, get in very bad situations and lose their lives. Or, you know, his pendulum has swung too far over,
Hmm.
and he doesn't want to find a common ground. I watched a video about him today. I hadn't watched anything on him in months. Oh, and turned out he had a court date today. And I don't know if you all saw the same video or not.
Well, I actually saw a little bit on Wranglers, but I wasn't like, see, look, I understand why people like, follow Chili and all that stuff or whatever. But you see, the problems that I had with Chili wasn't, look, is I the problems that I have with Chili, if he wants to like speak against cops and like, in a derogatory way or whatever, to me it's like, look, that's your message. As a free American, it's your opinion. You can say whatever you want. By all means, have your opinion. The problem that I have with Chili is the whole like, going up against cops on a stop, being irresponsible in the way you speak
Oh,
and
yeah.
the way you talk about certain laws and stuff like that.
It's
Like,
dangerous.
I think that there is a certain responsibility that you carry, especially if you're gonna be an influencer and you're gonna be somebody who's gonna have people following you on the things that you say. And I don't care what, like, I get it. There are people who you should follow, who are experts, and this is something that we should all do. We should all do our own research, right, when it comes to these types of things.
Yeah.
But of course, this is not the zeitgeist. This is not like how people actually think. People watch TV, people follow things that they see on TV, people follow people that they see on YouTube. So you, as a creator, you got to have some sort of responsibility to say, you know what, you shouldn't do things like this. You shouldn't do certain things like this, right? And that's the problems that I had with Chili. It usually comes down to procedures, things that happen, and things like that. And the other thing, the main problem that I had was him calling jail a dungeon. Now, do I think jail is a great place to be at? No, I did a year. I wouldn't want anybody to
No,
go.
it
But
sucks.
but the way he spoke about it was like, for me, was somebody that's only been there like for like, oh, maybe like most a couple of days, and
Yeah,
and 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 so I just wanted to dispel those things that he was talking about, as far as like saying that, oh, they want to look up your butt and things like that. I actually was a
it's not
trustee, so
true.
I was put in a position where I had to be checked every time I would have to go to work and stuff like that. And the guards don't like doing it. They don't. It is probably like the worst part of the day, and they'll tell you themselves that they don't like doing it. So
I
for him
spent
to
Yeah, you
I
were
spent
LA
6
County, right? Jerry, you were LA County.
yeah, I was in LA County, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, and I was Ventura County. And I'll tell you something. It sucked. Jail is the most depressing, fucked up place there is. Is it a dungeon?
I love you,
No.
Angel.
Is
No, it's
it?
not. It's
I
not.
spent
It's
6
not.
It's
months in Cook County in Chicago.
it's not. It's not a dungeon. Torture
I made
cuffs
the
are not
laundry
torture
crew.
cuffs.
No.
You know, and I've done more time, I think, than Jerry has. Not bragging, complaining actually, but that's all on me, no one else. And you know what? It's what you make of it. A, B. It's nothing like. And I had, by the way, Tilly DeCastro. I had a no-knock grade, and
Well,
I'm not traumatized. I don't have PTSD. Guess what? I deserve my fucking no-knock grade, and
well,
it sucked. Have I met lousy cops? Really, truly, a couple of times. Santa Barbara County Sheriff's, one of them threatened to kill me. Ventura County, or a CHP officer in Ventura County almost let me die in the back of his car.
What?
90%? Yeah. Yeah. I had a DUI, and I wrecked my car, and my airbags went off. And it turns out I get asthma related. I have allergy related asthma, right?
Okay.
And which probably stems from possibly valley fever, but who knows? Okay. I wrecked my car. No one else's car, mine, into a curb, blew my airbags. In a DUI, which was absolutely me. I did it, and but it turns out I'm highly allergic to airbag dust.
Well,
And I'm
wow.
in the back of the CHP officer's car, and I'm trying to tell him I can't breathe. Yes, I know it's the old I can't breathe scenario. No, this is way before that, y'all. And I literally, I was like seeing stars and shit, and I'm trying to tell him this. And the son of a bitch said, "Oh, thank you, Angel. My phone sucks." Um. Anyway, so I'm trying to tell him I can't breathe, and he goes, "Oh fuck, really? Am I gonna have to put?" And that was the
Another
last
one of
thing I
these.
remember. I and no one's gonna believe me about this. Jerry, I think, has heard this, and he might believe me. I do remember, and if y'all believe in this, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I remember. I can still see this to this day. I'm standing. He had to pull off onto a side street to call EMS, right? And I remember to this day standing on the sidewalk, which I wasn't, being loaded onto a stretcher and into an ambulance. I remember seeing this.
Out of the cop car into an ambulance?
Yeah. I remember seeing this. I know it sounds all paranormal and weird, but honestly, to this day, I can still see it. I came to in the into the hospital in Ventura County, and I'm sitting there and I'm handcuffed to a chair, and I look over at the CHP officer and I said, I'd like to get this over with too. Remember the first thing I remember saying to him, and he says to me, "Well, if you hadn't bothered to have a panic attack." The ER doc, I guess, who worked on me, was walking by at the time. The ER doc smoked his damn shoes, stopping, and turns around, looks at the CHP officer, and goes, "Panic attack?" He goes, "You almost brought me a corpse." She was dying when you finally called EMS.
Wow.
When she got here, I had to do 2 breathing treatments to get her to breathe again.
Wow. Well, that's the type of stuff that I do, like that's the type of stuff that I would like try to like speak up against and stuff like that. Like, see, this is the thing. This is the thing about like coming in the angle that we came in, right, Cripple? Because like I'm not like I'm not like a back to blue guy like 100% all the way. Like I'm just a person who's fair when I see things like. And the pendulum, when I came in, the year that we came in and everything, the pendulum was swinging so far in the anti-cop direction that I just wanted people to start looking at things more rationally. Like look, there is corruption. There are cops that don't that are corrupt because it goes down to how I feel about power, right? And there's that power dynamic is always going to be there, so that corruption's always going to be there. But we also got to understand that it takes a certain type of personality to be a cop. Like there are personalities that are going to be the the type of people that want to do good for their community. They want to actually help people and stuff like that.
Right.
But there's also those that want to have power. So it's gonna be 2 sides of a coin that are gonna be
But
good and bad.
that's human nature.
Yeah.
That's human nature. And the thing is yeah, do I maybe have a bias about
Maybe.
CHP? Yeah, I do. Okay.
I don't.
If
Well,
I was to wait. If I was to put a hierarchy of who I liked most and who I liked least, it would be I like the LA the sheriffs probably the most. LAPD the second. See and Ventura or Simi PD, they're up there. They're okay. CHP, I hate those motherfuckers. But I hate Santa Barbara County sheriffs because I had one pull me off the freeway when I was all of 18 years old. Pulled me off the freeway near the Polo Grounds. If you know anything about Santa Barbara County, you know what I'm talking about. And he looked me right in the eye and he goes, "I could kill you now."
Well, dude. Well, look, and this is
So
look. Let me just. And I heard you. Let me just say this for
no,
Rights On, because I wanna. I haven't. I don't know if Rights On has heard my stories as far as like when it comes to like police interactions and stuff like that. Now,
right,
I
right.
don't know. I don't know if you know this, Rights On, but like in my city where I lived before, we had a very corrupt police force that we got out as a community. It wasn't just me. It wasn't me by myself. It wasn't like, oh, well, Jerry did it by himself. No, it was like a cohesive group of people who got together,
It
who went to city hall and did all of that stuff, and got a whole ass police, whole ass PD that was corrupt. We got them out. We got them out, and
you
we we
you're not talking about anything in the LA
right.
city
It's
area,
LA.
would you?
It's
Yeah, I
it's
know
LA.
you are.
But
I
but
know,
that's
I know.
but that's what I mean. It's like like,
Excuse me.
yeah, exactly, right, son. That's what I mean. It's like, imagine that.
Yes.
Imagine somebody from LA who's telling you, like, okay, Chili's getting a little bit out of hand with the shit that he's saying. You know what I mean? It's not that has to come from somewhere, right? I'm not just like, oh, clutching pearls over here. You know what I mean? It's because
No,
he's
I
getting
know.
he's getting a little irresponsible in the way he does things. That's the angle that I was coming at it with, because it's
Ugh,
like, I've seen real police corruption.
sneeze.
I've seen real problems
So what?
in communities with cops and power and stuff like that. So that's why I wanted to come at it the angle that I did, because it's like, you know what? It's cool. Have your opinion. If you don't like the cops, scream that you don't like the cops. Trust, I have plenty of friends who distrust the cops to the 10th degree, right? But they are still not that irresponsible to tell people, oh, you could just talk to a cop however you want and this and that, and like get in their face and stuff like that. Like, no, don't be dumb. You know what I mean? Like, yes,
Don't be
speak
dumb. I
speak
love it.
out, speak out against corruption. Go after it if you can find,
Right.
if you find it, call it out. But don't be dumb. Don't be like, oh yeah, I could just go ahead and speak to a cop however I want, this and that. Like, that's not
No, you
reality.
can't. No.
So yeah, that's how I feel about that. That's how I feel about that. What the hell's going on? I got two crippled cats. What's
Live
going
a
on here?
chihuahua, big world. What's up, girl?
What the hell?
Well, that's what I was going
Oh,
to mention about.
kill one of me.
Well, well, that's what I was going to mention about DeCastro's video I saw today. They played something where he got pulled over at around Thanksgiving, and he got out of his car, and he had these cops behind him. They were all motorcycles, and man, he called them everything but a
Oh
Christian.
no, I'm
I
not
mean,
saying that either.
no, I
Don't,
know,
Right.
you're not. I know, I'm
no, oh no, not you,
agreeing.
not you, Mountain Man. I'm talking. I'm sorry. I was reading Right Son's comment. No, just real quick. You can make your point right now, real quick. Right Son. I'm not saying talk to them like they're your friends either. I'm just saying don't be fucking getting in their face and acting like you're fucking, like, like you're gonna be cool, like things are gonna work out for you
Right.
if you're getting all up in their shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's with
Right.
anything.
Right. Right.
Like, I'm not, look, I will give you the same advice if you're walking down the wrong hood. If you're in the wrong neighborhood, I would say don't walk around like you're the cock of the walk in the wrong neighborhood either. Because
Yeah,
there is, I'm talking about survival here. I'm not talking about like, oh, your pride and shit. Like, you can be
right.
prideful. You can be like, I'll take this ticket, I'll take this arrest, take it. Take the arrest, take the ticket, whatever. Go fight it in court,
Fight it.
whatever.
Fight it in court.
Yeah, yeah. You come on to him like King Kong. Uh,
That's
you're going to
cool.
get in trouble 9 times out of 10. Um,
Right.
but they treated him, I thought, with kid gloves. And even though he was using the
Big time.
worst insults and foul language, and they looked in the computer and it said it had him in there flagged as prone to violence, and I think
Wow.
his tags were suspended or something like that. He got a ticket or more than one. And this video I just saw, and he was blah 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 blah, and they gave him his tickets and told him to have a nice day, and he was still blabbing when they pulled off in their motorcycles. So what's going to happen with him is he's going to fix down the road if he doesn't adjust his approach, like you're saying, Jerry. Um, Tone it down a little bit. He's going to fix his own little red wagon somewhere down the line. You can't behave like that. Somebody's going to give you a wood shampoo or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
I
it's
wouldn't
just a
put up with
matter.
that kind. I wouldn't put up with that kind of language. Like you're talking about walking
No.
down somebody else's neighborhood. If he came out of the blue and called me those kinds of names, he'd been picking his ass up off the ground. But he's doing it to the cops because he wants attention. He wants the people viewing him to get fired up, send him money, get more views, and all this kind of stuff. And it's playing with fire. And I agree with what Queen was saying. If people imitate him, somebody's going to get hurt.
Right.
Because it's like a friend of mine, I worked in different situations where, sometimes things got physical and you had to be careful. And you couldn't just, get in a physical situation without justification. But I was dealing with a friend and all of a sudden he just hauled off and whopped this other person in a situation we were in. That's only as far as I'll say. And I said, "Man, why'd you do that?" And he said,
Yes, Keebler.
He said, my brain said I'll put up with this, but my hand said like hell.
Right. Well, look, my my thing is this. My thing is this about all of this, and this is, like I said, this is the angle that I came in on, is talking about my reality, and my reality was a dangerous one. Like I seen people die in my life that shouldn't have died, and it came down to pride. It came down to bullshit pride that people had for a street that didn't belong to them, for power that they never really had, for things. It's just stupid things that people died for, and I seen it.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's just a matter of saying, like, hey, slow down, think about it. Let's not be so impulsive. Like, there are injustices in this world, and we need to pick our battles, because those injustices, if we want to weed them out, we have to be smart about it. We have to be better about it. I mean,
Yes.
I like to think that Martin Luther King had it right. You take the approach of being peaceful, like you're better than your enemy. If your enemy is going to come at you and attack you and hurt you and want to put you down by physically attacking you, then you don't attack them back. And yes, it's counterintuitive, and people will say that's stupid or whatever, but you have to be the example that you want your society to be. And so my thing is, you know what? I'm gonna say, don't do that, but it doesn't mean that I'm not at your side when it comes to the injustice. It just means that I want you to live on, because things aren't that big. We are in a first world country. We do have a system, and we need to work with it. And if we can't, then we need to find a way to fix it in the right way, not in the let's destroy everything way, because people who just want to destroy don't have solutions. All they do is cry and destroy, but they never have a solution. And then at the end, they're frustrated, and all they do is
Right.
hurt more than what they fix.
Yeah, and that's 100%. I absolutely 100% believe that. And yeah, I guess if you were to pigeonhole me, I'd be on the anti-predator. But let me make this clear. Film the cops, 1,000%. Everybody should be held accountable. Okay? I I I I believe that with every part of me. Don't bait the cops.
Thank you.
Don't try to you insert yourself in the narrative. Don't. But hey, film them. Keep tabs on what they're doing. You
Yeah.
know, absolutely, absolutely. I stand by that, and I always will.
Well,
I always will.
did you guys ever see that video where the two policemen were dealing with this guy who was sitting in his car, was dark, and they kept telling him to, get out of the car. They're being real nice to him, and it was a young guy, and he was kept piddling around and looking down and digging around under his seat, and then he'd look over in his passenger seat, and he kept saying, "Oh, I'm afraid. I don't want to get out." Oh, and they were going, "Oh, come on out. It's okay now. We want to do a sobriety test." And well, anyway, the long and short of it is, and I've watched the video so many times to see where the hell it came from, and I couldn't figure out. It was so fast. This kid pulled a pistol out from underneath the car and unalived both the cops, both of them.
Christopher. Oh yeah,
Did
I
you-
seen that. Yeah, I know what you were talking
I
about.
have no idea where he produced it from. One he shot and he fell backwards, and you could see his body cam was still on, but he was ended before he hit the ground
Right.
because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
he got it in the forehead, and the other cop started screaming and running away, and you could the way the cop that was out of it gone, his body cam was still going, but you could still see the two figures until they
Yeah.
ran out of sight, and the cop ran, and the kid got out of the car and ran after the cop, and the story is that he caught up with the cop and pew-pewed him, and I think he lived,
Really?
but the other one didn't. Now, you see training films like that, and you pull somebody over and it says prone to violence. There's going to
Yeah.
be some bristles. You're going to be bristled up because the
Yeah.
bottom line is whether they're jerks or whether they're really good guys, every damn single one of them want to go home after their shift.
Yes.
Right.
They don't want to
You-
end up. They don't want to end up
and
where
that's
it's over.
that's why I always felt like the things that Chitty did were irresponsible when it came to that, because it was like that's the type of situation that you want to avoid. Now, like when it comes to those situations with cops, that's where I say to people, like, where I get that there are injustices, I get that there are cops that are corrupt, and I get that there are cops that that overstep their bounds. The part that people need to understand is that you're not the you're not the first interaction for that cop. The cop has 100 interactions 100 times a day, and this comes down to, like, when people like do stupid things like that. Just like when we see a cop that does the wrong thing, it's the same thing on the other side. It's like, like, you got to understand why the procedures are the way they are. And I always tell people, it's like, well, maybe they should do things like this and they should do things like this. Well,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. But
But
offer me a solution that works. Offer me a solution that works within the realm of somebody who has to deal with dangerous people. You know what I mean? Because it's like, we like to look at it like, well, we're the average citizen that goes to work every day or does things like we're supposed to do or whatever, and we don't have guns in our belts and stuff like that. But look at it this way. Like I told you, I lived in a neighborhood where there were kids carrying guns. There were gang members carrying guns. You never knew what was going to happen. And you know what? I was on edge. I couldn't go to the bus stop without without hearing, like, a car, like its engine go off or something, and me thinking I'm getting shot at. You know what I mean? And that's in a world where I was like, like I was just going to school. So imagine somebody who has to pull over people who are looking for their head already, who
Yeah.
have
Right.
who are listening to people on
That's
the
just
internet.
it. There are these people, cops. Yeah, many of them are human. They have family. They have lives. They don't want. They don't want the violent interaction. They don't. They're not here for that. That they people are people. That's just it. You
Well,
know, I
I'm
mean, not
like
all
it's like
cops are bad, and not all criminals.
you cut out there. I'm pretty sure she said not all criminals are angels. I'm pretty sure that's what she was gonna say. But yeah, no, I'm like I could understand both sides of the coin there, and I get it on the side of people who are dealing with dangerous people, and to the to the people who are committing crimes and stuff like that, who aren't the angels, who are doing bad stuff out there. I say, hey, you know what you're doing. Like there's no need to take somebody's life because you're gonna get hemmed up. If you can't take your your lumps for doing the bad shit that you do, then don't do it, because you you wouldn't want anybody to take your life for say whatever the fuck you're doing. But it doesn't matter. Dangerous people are going to be dangerous, man. It's just the way it is. This is just a part of life. It's just the way things are. And I say, you know what? Until somebody finds me a better solution for the cops to be safe out there, just follow procedure. Just follow the things that are supposed to happen. If you if you're in a situation where you feel like a cop is overstepping his bound, then go put a complaint on that cop. Go
That's right.
film them responsibly. There are responsible ways of filming cops. You know what I mean? And
Well,
and if
what's that guy that holds up the sign says "Pray for our troops" or something like that?
I forget his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you know, uh, he. I think these so-called auditors maybe take a page out of his book. If that's how you want to spend your time, not stand with a sign that says the exact same thing. I'm saying how his methods, how he deals with, interacts with people, the public and the cops. It's
Right,
low impact. It's low
right.
impact. But I'll never forget when I was in court one time. I seen this chick showed up, and she still had a pair of black eyes, and she was suing this guy who gave her the black eyes.
Well, that made
and,
sure.
and it turned out, I'll tell it real quick, they were outside the parking lot in a bar leaving. It was one of these things like last call, get the drinks off table, everybody out, so nothing good happens after midnight. They're all out there in the parking lot. And she got all mouthy and told the guy to hit her, and went at him, slapping at him, hit me, MF, hit me. And he hit her. And I'll never forget the judge. He looked at her and he said, well, it sounds to me, young lady, like you were looking for trouble that night. And baby, you found it. Case dismissed. And he bapped the thing down. And you go out looking for trouble and you end up with two black eyes. Oh, well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the same thing with these auditors. They not all of them, but there are some that are going out looking for trouble, and baby, they're going to find it.
well, I say most of the new ones and most of the ones that are like trying to build their channel and stuff like that, because it's like it's become a thing where it's like people are just trying to build their backs off a channel. It's just like the anti-auditing. It's like it took a minute. It took a minute, right? But it's getting there now, right? Because you got people like Kaiser who jumped on the anti-auditing, and to some degree I believe that he wanted to be an auditor at some point. But I can't prove that, but I can say that because I feel like that's the angle that he came in through. But it's like he jumped on it. Why? Because saying auditor bad gets you clicks and views. Just like this guy Will, this guy Will who comes on and is acting like some sort of like innocent little boy who's, oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Oh, people are homophobic. People are homophobic towards me. But it's like, oh, but if Kaiser says, oh, the people on Jerry's panel are butt buddies, then he's okay with that. But no, let me disagree with you. Now I'm homophobic, right? It's like, that's the kind of shit that's happening now in the anti-auditing community, is that like you got people who are like, oh, like auditor bad, like everything that an auditor does is bad, right? And so you get people who are like, yeah, but they don't like, they say all these things about auditors, but then they never take the time to like try to like see things in a way that can be helpful. All they do is that they put out a video saying auditor bad, they call them stupid or whatever and all this other stuff, but they don't look for the law. They don't actually like, put out the law as the words, like are supposed to be written. They don't look for the right expertise or anything. And then they espouse and make themselves sound like there's some sort of expert in the law. When you got people like GMK Dork, you got people like Merv Beast out there who are actual lawyers, who actually studied the law, who actually went to school, and just like overlook people that like will correct them and stuff like that, and be like, oh well, like I already said auditor bad, and who cares, right? That's the type of that's the type of stuff that I'm against on all sides of the board. It's like, look, give credit where credit is due. These people do hard work. They go to school. They take years and years of their lives, lots of money, and they go and they figure this stuff out. Like they do it. They interpret the law. I would never say that I could interpret the law like GMK Dork or like Merv Beast. I give them their credit because they did it and they deserve that credit. We can't sit here and act like we're experts in the law. I could only be an expert in the stuff that I've experienced in, and that's what I talk about. I don't talk about the law like I know it. I talk about the law like I've heard from other people that are experts in it. And then from there, if somebody corrects me, or if GMK Dork tells me, no, Jerry, that's not how things work, and I say, you know what, you're right, dude. Okay, cool. We'll go from there. You know what I mean? That's the thing that I don't like about the anti-auditors. They get on this high horse and they act like, oh yeah, I got the more superior high ground. It's like, no, dude, like, no, you don't. You don't have no superior high ground over anybody. You don't get to correct anybody. The only thing you can do is point out the parts where people are doing wrong. And like I said, most of the time it's in settings that are like socially, unacceptable, like the way they talk to other people. Because that's usually what I have a problem with auditors. Is like, why the fuck are you getting at some lady in the post office? Is like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, leave her alone. Stop acting like you're a jerk with her. She's, first of all, she has no power to change any law that you want her to change. Second of all, you getting in her face and talking to her all crazy and stuff like that doesn't help nothing or anybody. So stop it. And then the third thing is all you're doing is you're adding stress to somebody that didn't deserve any of your ire, none whatsoever. So that's what I always was against. It had nothing to do with laws. It had nothing to do with their right to be able to film. Although I think that most of the time they're not being told not to film. They're just being told, hey, could you kind of tone it down? But they don't, because of course they want the clicks and views and stuff like that. And that's usually what it comes down to. That's why like I had a problem with them in the first place. Now, if they come out, if like there are some that may have, like some, like better ways of looking at things, and they want to like take care of some injustice, and I'm cool with that. I'll back them up, and I don't hate them as people. Like Kaiser acts like they're like the scum of the earth when he's a murder burglar and like has done worse things than them. And you know what I mean? Like I've always said, somebody like Christopher, FPS, he is very misguided in the way he sees things. He has a bad temper, and I told, and his wife was here in one of my lives, and I said, my advice to him is to chill his temper, find a way to get that under control, pick his battles, because that's important when it comes to activism. You got to pick your battles. You can't just go around and be like stirring up shit everywhere, because there are people who are willing to help you out within those power structures. You just got to find them. If you're over here just wilding out like a madman, then nobody's going to take you seriously. You've got to pick your battles in order for you to get to the place where you want to be at. And if he's looking for real activism, he's got to be more professional than that. That would be my advice to him, if that's what he's looking at, if that's what he really wants to do.
Well, do you think some of these subs that kick in super chats, or what do they do? You think some of them might be egging them on to do more crazy confrontations, or I don't know if that's a thing, but
I think so.
it's
I think so. I think that there's some element to that, honestly, because it's like it's a thrill, right? Even I mean, look at it in the most simplest way. If we're just talking about, say, like a prank channel, the
yeah,
reason why prank channels get dangerous is because people like they can't get enough with just a simple like prank, right? It has to be taken to the extreme. It has to get more crazier, right? So at it may start at a low level, but eventually it ramps up, ramps up, ramps up, ramps up. To some degree, I think that happens with audits too, because it's like if you don't get that interaction that's going to get you either arrested or put you in a place where you look like, oh, you're really being hemmed up by the cops or something. That's why like, I think a lot of the New York guys, like show a lot of attitude, because I think they know that those cops will come at them, because it's a New York attitude thing. You know what I mean? I think so. I That's just my opinion. I may be wrong on that, but I see that a lot from New York auditors. Like when it comes to the New York auditors, they usually have more of a chip on their shoulder. They're more like willing to push back. And I'll say for the auditors too, they need to do a better job of policing their own community as well, because it's like you got people like easy cameras on, which I'll that piece of shit is like number two on my list when it comes to pieces of shit after Kaiser. He punched a woman, and I don't care what anybody's. I don't care what anybody says of the situation. You don't punch a woman not because you don't hit a lady, no, because she's weaker than you. You
yeah.
don't hit you don't go after anybody that's weaker than you. You never look good when you hit somebody that's weaker than you, regardless
Well,
of whether it's a female or male.
I just want to clarify about my judge story that I just told.
Oh,
My
go ahead.
judge story. She was slapping the hell out of him and daring him to hit her, and he did.
Okay.
So that's when the judge said she was looking for trouble and she found it. Um, not justifying hitting women. She was beating the guy in the parking lot. I just want to mention that. But the way I was told in interacting with the public, this is from years ago, you treat everybody. It doesn't matter, of course, being a woman is important. You don't ever lay your hand on a woman. Of course, I mean, you could be getting the hell beat out of you. You got to do something. But
Well,
as
look,
a rule of thumb, you don't hit a woman. You just don't do it. Even little kids in kindergarten, you teach the boys don't ever hit a girl because they got more muscle. Even in kindergarten, they could hurt a girl. Um, and
well, look. Let me just preface this, because don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't defend yourself.
yeah,
There's a big difference. There's a big difference between defending yourself and hitting someone.
right.
Because I don't have a problem with if a woman's attacking you and it's getting dangerous to the point where you have to defend yourself. Defend yourself. That goes with anything. Like a little guy could come at me and be dangerous towards me. He could be holding a knife, whatever. Like they can. I'm not. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right, right,
What I'm talking about is in a situation where you're squaring up with somebody, and this is what happened with easy cameras on. No matter what anybody says about the situation, if a woman is yelling at me in my face, she can be yelling at me. She can be telling me hit me. She can be telling me you're the worst person in the world. All the worst things in the world. I'm never gonna raise a fist. I'm not gonna raise a fist to somebody that's weaker than me. It's just not gonna happen,
right,
because things aren't that serious. This guy,
right.
this guy punched a lady that was walking away from her.
Oh
I'm not
man,
I'm not cool with that. I'm never gonna be
yeah.
cool with that. And anybody who tries to defend it to me is like, come on,
Did they go to
like
jail?
I think he did. I don't know if he has charges on him. I have no idea. To me, it doesn't even make a difference if he got charges. It's just a situation where it's like that was completely unnecessary, completely unnecessary. Now, yeah, and Angel, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. The
Well,
thing is that when as somebody, look, I'm 6'3", 280. I'm a big dude. Anytime that I fought somebody, and most of the time when I fought somebody who's smaller than me, I never look good. Like everybody looks at me like, oh shit, like like this dude could have killed that dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and the way I see it is like, I'm not for that. I'm not for violence. I'm not for hurting people and stuff like that. Like I said, defending yourself, completely different story. If you're talking
Well,
about defending yourself, I agree. Defend yourself, whether it be female, male, don't matter. You're
well,
if
I
you're
tell you,
if you're
any
defending
any
yourself, defend yourself.
anytime it gets down to hands flying, anything can happen. I had a friend years ago. We were at you know how counties have these fairs, um, where all kinds of stuff, tractor pulls and all kinds of stuff at a county fair. And he was a big guy, and uh, a corn-fed country boy, and he got in. Had somebody start some stuff up with him, and I saw it. He hit the guy one time, once. He was a lot bigger, but the guy he hit was big too. But he was a lot. He was a big guy, and he hit him once. And guess what? The guy didn't make it.
Wow. Yeah.
And 10 years, he went down the road 10 years, and he hit him once.
Wow. Well,
So
that's
you got to be careful with every situation. And the advice that I got a long time ago, even if it's a man, woman, anybody, if you treat everybody the way you would treat your mother, as far as how you interact with respect, not hi mom, can I have a bowl of soup? Not that way. If you just treat people with the same level of respect and concern for their being, for their person, if you treat them like you would your mother, whether it's I saw a lot of comments in the chats about ladies at the post office and stuff like that. These auditors that go in there, do you treat me with respect? You understand? You work for me. Hey, you treat those people like you would your mother. And the way you would want your mother to be treated. And let me tell you something, this would be a much better world.
why. I mean, I wouldn't even go that far. I'd just be like, hey, like how would you want to be treated? Like the golden rule. I don't see.
That's what I was going to say earlier. Really, the golden rule. But if you are in a public position, and that the mother thing, yeah, you treat everybody the way you'd want to be treated. The golden rule is our anchor. But if you're in a public position, you have the attitude that you treat somebody with the same level of concern and that you would expect others to give your mother. And these auditors, what they're putting out is up forever.
Right.
They're leaving a legacy. They're leaving their behaviors, their words, their actions. It'll never go away. It'll always be up there. And how do you want to be looked at in the future? I mean, you want your nieces and nephews 20 years from now saying, seeing you behave the way some of the things we described tonight, the like Chile with the filthy language and having a reputation for violence. They got to think about those types of things. They don't.
They don't. Yeah, they don't.
But
Most of the time, it's because they carry a chip on their shoulder. And let's be honest, that's what it is. It's like
well,
it's not any directed like focused activism because, like I said, that kind of the focus when you have an actual something that you're rooting out or you're trying to fight against, it's more than just one interaction. It's more than just like say I got pulled over or whatever, right? Because we've all been there, and I've had my moments, like where I got pulled over, and I've said the story before, and I don't know if anybody's heard it, like where I told you where I got pulled out of the car and the cop was being, like physical with me and he treated me bad. And it was probably one of the worst experiences I ever had with a cop. And that experience could have molded me to be somebody like an auditor, like, like thinking like, oh, like all cops are bad and stuff like that. But instead of seeing it that way, I took myself out of it. And I didn't make it personal towards me. I looked at it in a way that said, you know what? This was an interaction that I had with one person on one situation on one road, and this is not all the interactions. And until I was proven wrong by another cop that treated me the same way, then I wasn't going to take it that way. And I didn't. I never got treated the same way ever again. And it wasn't because I asserted myself or anything like that. It was just because I knew that situation was unique. It wasn't going to be something that was going to follow me. And I didn't treat every single cop like that cop was the one that pulled me over every single time. I treated them with the same respect like I treated that one at first. Now, of course, if I ever saw that cop again, I would have some words for him, right? Because I definitely wish I would have said something more, but I was a kid. I was 19 years old. The cop treated me like crap. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't used to that. And so, like I said, most auditors have a chip on their shoulder. They do this because either one, they have a problem with society and how it works, or two, they have a problem with authority, and that's usually what it comes down to. And they think that this is some sort of retribution to be able to act the way that they act or to do the things that they do and be able to get paid for it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's the truth about it. And so that's why a lot of it never goes anywhere. It never does anything to help the system or change anything. And that's where I would say, like, hey man, like if you want to call it activism, I'm gonna say you're wasting your time because you're really not doing anything to do any kind of change or any positive change whatsoever.
Well, it's like Angel. I see Angel says here, fraudsters don't get paid by being respectful. The drama they create is what pays them, and that
Right.
ties into what I was asking. If you thought maybe the subs were egging it on because they got a chip on their shoulder and they'll pay some money to see somebody, cuss somebody or.
And sometimes it's not even a chip on the shoulder. Some people, like the line goes from that Batman movie. Some people just want to watch the world burn, right? So it's like if they can get some sort of arbiter of chaos to do something for them, they'd love that. And I would say a lot of and this is what I mean about irresponsibility amongst your content creation, right? It's like, are you going to create something that you're passionate about? Are you going to create something that you want to do because you care about it? Or are you going to just do what other people, are you just going to be a puppet for other people's entertainment? You know what I mean? That's
right.
That's what it comes down to. It's like, I'm here to do my thing. I'm here to do my thing. And if you agree with it, cool. If you want to sub to me, cool. And I'd rather have, 371 subs of people who agree with me, who love me for what I am and who I am, than have a million people who just want to see me dance like a puppet.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I've had it in my chats. I've had people tell me, to say or do something or not to talk to somebody or block somebody. I'm like, wait, no, you don't tell. I'll block them.
Yeah.
Don't tell me on my channel what to do or who to talk to or what to say. But there's so much to discuss to reach that goal that supposedly everybody wants to reach, which is fair treatment by people who have been granted authority over us. Fair treatment from them to us. And there's so many trials that are going on.
Never.
Well, they had some tri-county area, I think it was in Texas, did mandatory psychological exams for police officers or deputies. And don't you know, 50% of the active deputies were pulled and either dismissed or put on desk jobs
Yeah, I
because they
see.
didn't pass a psychological exam. Now,
Damn.
50% of them did pass, you know, but they took the results of the psychological exam and also looked at their prior record, complaints
Right.
or disciplinary action, and said, "Hey, no, this isn't going to work. You with a gun interacting with people with this kind of a psych exam and your history, no, you're out of here." So
Right.
they need to standardize that. We can't have a bunch of. Imagine some of these auditors that we're
Right.
talking about that take it too far. Imagine them with a badge and a gun pulling you over.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. There's a power dynamic there. Exactly. That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. And sometimes, like I said, there are procedures and there are things that are done in order for us to interact with police in a very easy way so that nobody gets harmed. And if you don't want to respect that, then you're gonna have to live with those consequences. And I get it that not all the time is it going to be fair on one side or the other when it comes to the power dynamics, but that's our society. And until we can find a solution that works better for everybody, it's what we have and we should work with it. It's just common sense things that I think like we get away from because we hear stories like George Floyd. We hear stories like like the one you said about the cops that get shot and everything. You know what I mean? And so the pendulum swings on each side and it goes to the extremes, but we don't live in those extremes. We got to understand that those are the exception and not the rule. And so that's
Yeah.
that's that's where we need to start living in reality in our society. Like the exceptionalism, all the stuff that we see that gets bombarded on us by the news, by the media, by TikTok, by Twitter, by everything. We need to suss that out and say to ourselves, is this my reality? Is this what I live in? Is this where I'm at right now? Or is this something that's happening around me and I'm just feeding into this beast of media that can get out of control? Like it really comes down to the individual. And that's what we're not doing anymore. We're not seeing ourselves as individuals, as having our own choice and our own agency. We need to start being more responsible for ourselves, and that's what it comes down to. If we just started doing that, I think we would all be better off instead of trying to look for the crowd, trying to be tribalist on everything that we talk about and everything that we do. Now, uh, just to focus and get straight, like let's like get into one track here. For Cripple Cat, I say happy birthday, love, and don't worry, there is no derailing a Jerry stream. Remember, I don't I don't ever have any, like subject matter when I come in. These are totally improvised. I never write anything down. This is off the top of my head. So there was no derailing. This is exactly how I like my lives to go. And I like the fact that we got into so many different discussions because I want people to know that I can talk about anything. Like, yeah, I can talk about the drama that happens and everything like that. And I really wanted to get into that stuff with this guy Will, because I think he's an idiot. But you know, I think that this was a good discussion, and I hope it shows that like I've got I- I'm able to go through different subjects, and hopefully people can understand my point of view, and I'm disseminating it in a type of way that people can see that I'm coming from a very logical and very rational place. But that's for you guys to decide, and I'm here. So if you haven't subbed, I welcome a sub,
Yeah.
and
A
and
thumbs up too.
and a like too, because I'm about to get out of here. And Mountain Man, thanks for showing up, man. I
Hey,
appreciate you for
hey,
being
I
here.
want to ask you something real quick.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask somebody in the chat something um, to put a little cap on what I was talking about. Um, well,
True that.
Internet God, yeah. what a fresh hell this is. I don't know what he's talking about. But somebody asked, "Is this ain't live? Is it?" Yeah, it's live, Robert. But anyway, I noticed Wrights on. He said he talked to Chili. I went way back in the chats, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah. Right on is close to Chili. He's a dear friend of his.
oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, I don't know him. I've watched these reaction videos. Um, I've watched a couple of his videos about his trifold and stuff like that. But if you're still out there, yeah, Wrights on. I want to ask you, if since you know him, how would he behave? Can you envision Chili in a brand new Dodge Charger with the blue lights, okay, the Hellcat engine, a shotgun clipped right above the center console, straight up and down, a belt, Batman belt with all the tear gas, taser, baton, pistol, a badge, authority, and everything like that. You think he'd walk straight and not take it a little too far with somebody he pulled over that gave him lip?
That's a good question. I would say, Mountain Man, I'm gonna put Mountain Man's channel out there, and I think somebody's rebroadcasting right now. I'm not sure if that's News Now Enemy who's rebroadcasting right now, but if that's News Now Enemy's channel that's being rebroadcast right now, I'm gonna put Mountain Man's channel link on there. So if you want to do that News Now Enemy, it's up to you. Hang on, let me just gotta go back here.
Yeah, I'm a conservative channel. I look at current events, and I give everybody a chance, but I got to watch keywords in my chats and language, so I don't get in trouble. But Angel, I'm reading some of the responses to my question, my descriptive question. If you could imagine Chili the way I just said, with one of them big flat brim trooper hats on and a pair of sunglasses. And Angel says Chili would abuse his power.
And you know what? Maybe and there you go. I'm putting his there you go. That's his link right there. You know what? And I believe that. Right, son. I think like I said, man, I don't care what people feel about Chili, man. Like that's your friend, and like do your thing. You're a loyal friend. That's cool, man. I'm a loyal friend too. I got polarizing friends too and stuff like that. But I would say when it comes to chill dudes, good dudes, Wrights on is right there. He is a chill dude. That is supposed to be the link. What the hell did I copy?
No, I tell you what, Angel, or anybody in the chats, my name on the screen is not my channel name. I got my other channel taken down because I was talking about stuff that people can talk about now. One of them was the island of the guy named Jeffrey that did not.
You don't mean the island of Dr. Monroe?
The island of Jeffrey Epstein. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, don't get me banned.
No. Just saying that won't get you banned. But everybody's talking about it now. There you go, YouTube. There you go, Mountain Man 2. It's not Mountain Man News. It's Mountain Man 2. TOO. So
and there's a lot to talk
that's
about
just one of the things I was talking about that got me in trouble. but I did 300 videos on that channel. And uh, when things got spicy, you know, we were talking about it because most of my crowd do not like when young people are not treated properly. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, right? And we want people held accountable. And, you know, so anyway.
maybe a little bit cuter. Maybe a little. It's a celebration. It's a celebration. Well, I appreciate everybody for showing up, and I'm thankful you guys. Yeah, this has been a great discussion. I'm you know, not everything has to be about Wrangler. I mean, apparently we're obsessed with them, right? Apparently we can't stop talking about them. So today we didn't talk about them. Happy birthday to Cripple Cat. Happy Australia Day. Hey, and to everybody, I hope you guys have a good night. This was fun. This was fun. Anything you want to plug, Mountain Man, while you're here?
No, I appreciate you having me on, and we're glad to meet everybody. And Rights On, I read what you said about Chili. I want to be verbalize it that you said he's a laid back and giving person. I don't want to leave off with just my limited descriptions of the videos I've seen. If that's the way you know the gentleman, then there you have it. But just an old man giving a little advice. He needs to cool his jets in certain situations. Be my counsel as an elder.
That would be my counsel as a millennial, I guess. I don't know.
As a youngin, you're a youngin. Okay. Well, I appreciate
I'm a
it.
super youngin. What the heck is going on? My
You're a youngin.
Oh, no. Yeah. I'm a very young youngin. I'm a younger youngin.
Well, I appreciate
All right.
everybody listening to me, and thank you for having me on, Jerry. And good luck with your channel.
Yeah, buddy.
And hope everybody subs to you and has some productive conversations. Give me an email
Yes,
someday.
productive
Give me
conversation.
an email. We'll talk. I got a few things I want to talk to you about.
Oh, right. Yeah. Leave your email in the private chat. Yeah, because I think I emailed you, but I think I emailed the wrong one. I honestly, because I sent you an email and I haven't got a response for you yet, but I didn't get I'm pretty sure you got like an ID and everything for Gmail. So I didn't see that. So I think I sent it to the wrong person or whatever I did. So yeah, just leave me your email exactly how you do it on your private chat, so I can email you correctly.
I don't see a private chat. It says chat with everyone in the studio. That's all I see on my screen.
Are you on your phone?
Yeah.
There should be like a little drop menu, like options or whatever. This should say something. Should say private chat.
Let me see. I got two buttons up top that say comments and chat. And then at the bottom, it says join the chat. Let me press that and see what happens. I don't want to scare everybody off of my face.
No, or if you don't, or if you're okay with just putting your if you're not afraid with just putting your chat in the I mean your email in the chat. It's fine.
I don't. Last time I did that, man, I had more emails and people sending me documents and all kinds of crap. It was unreal.
Okay. Well, you know what? Okay.
We'll hang out after you close out.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry. Just hang tight. Let me just end this. All right, everybody. I hope everybody has a good night. I'll catch you guys later. And
trust me? Would you love me? Then it must be worldwide stunner. Oh man, I'ma rain on the game, make it storm and thunder. Grab an umbrella, bitch, and go stand under. And bundle up, it's gonna be a cold ass summer. You niggas so last summer. On to the new, on to the new shit. Jigga wouldn't even take my CD when he see me 2 years later. Bitch, we made it on to the blueprint. Now how's that for persistence? Cold world coming, call back a persistence. Same bras used to hang up on my walls, now they come up out their jaws. How's that for a mistress? Hell bent, ever sent. Lord, I repent if I ever sent. Now I know I ain't the richest, but I still wanna ball. Put money over bitches, but we still underdogs.
Are you there?
I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going now. You coming with me? Up in the way. Hey, you can trust me. If I was on my list, I would get broke ass out and you love me. Then it must be. God's gift. God's gift. God's gift. Motherfucker, this is God's gift. Pussy my passion. Man, I just can't help it. I see a cookie, I grab one. Looking for some nookie, I'm trying to scoop me a bad one. Every verse I spit it just like it could be my last one. Ever since I got on, I've been on a mission to fuck the bitches I missed out on. Ex-cheerleader, hollering what's up. Now her nigga beat her. Damn, that's fucked up. What type of better? Fuck boy hit her. Woman bet he wouldn't put his hands on a nigga. I ain't bitter, boy, that's all you. Cause I just fucked up what she called you. Dry your eyes, baby, I drive you home. Older hoe saying, my, how you grown. I came up, fuck the game up. Show my mama I survive on my own. Did you miss me? No, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going now. You coming with me? Up in the way. Hey, you can trust me. If I was on my list, I would get broke ass out. You love me. Then it must be. That's me in heaven. God's gift. God's gift. God's gift. Motherfucker, this is God's gift.